So in the Northwest, there are 4 seasons: cold and rainy, warm and rainy, summer, and smoke. We are in the middle of smoke season and therefore needed to get out of the city. Smoke is heavier than air and therefore it likes to sit in the lowlands. So we decided, let's go to Mt Rainier and hopefully we can get above the smoke. I don't know why I needed to have like those kind of hands. We hopped in the cars and went up to Mt Rainier, needing to stop along the way, go to our cabins, and let the gremlins that have been in a car for 2 hours run around.
When I know you're right, but I won't say sorry. Turning out the lights, but I can't get you off my
Once they kind of got some energy out, we headed into the national park and all up to the Paradise area where we were going to do an evening hike. Now, if you're watching this channel, you're probably not watching it just because you want to watch my family vacation. And I apparently am completely incapable of simply enjoying a family vacation. So with that, I thought that I would do this little video where I would compare the look of Portra 160 in 120 with Gold 200 in 120, just to see how these two films, though rated fairly similar, see if there's any real difference between the two of them. For those films, I was going to shoot them in my Mamiya 6MF and be able to expose them. I think I basically set the camera to ISO 100 so that they'd both be overexposed by a little bit, and also just to have them be a little bit more consistent in their look. Beyond that, I also was using my Leica with Vision 3 500T movie film in it, and then my R6. So you'll see a few of those photos in there just because if they're good photos, I kind of want to share them. Once we had the cameras ready, the kids ready, the snacks ready, the water ready, my daughter into unicorn costume, because that's what she wanted to do, we headed off to a hike up to Myrtle Falls. Now, a hike, because, you know, 4-year-olds. Right as we were first stepping out of the parking lot at Paradise, I had this couple photos here of the ranger station and of the resort. I just really like the light on these. They just feel very timeless and very bold and stuff, and just like the real look that at least that I want out of my film photos. Like, just like they pop in that perfect way. Then from there, we continued on up to Myrtle Falls, which was very much a falls in quotation because there was most of the snow melt had already happened, so there's not a lot of water left to be going over the falls. But it was a nice little evening hike and stuff, and time to kind of run around and get some energy out before going back.
You see me. Why do I get butterflies every time I look into your eyes and I see you? Do you see me? Now my pulse is on the rise. I can feel the future crystallize 'cause I need you. You need me. Why do I get butterflies?
Then as the sun really started to set down into the west and you could see like the deep reds of that smoke in the lowlands, we had a nice picnic in the parking lot overlooking it all.
Why do I get butterflies?
Don't know what day it is, but I know that I want to.
The next morning, we got back up, headed back into the park because we're going to do a hike. And we decided to go and do Snow Lake, which is a hike I did a lot when I was a kid. Like, it was kind of like our family favorite and was actually the very first place I ever went backpacking. So I was really excited to take my kids on this hike just because they're kind of continuing that tradition.
Sorry, you weren't one. Sorry, I made you love me. Sorry, I'm who you adore. I was just bored.
With that, it was also, it's a really easy one, so it's kind of fun to be able to have a place to watch the kids be able to like run around and go nuts and all that.
It's ridiculous. Promise I'm not trying to make you a fool.
It also was really pretty just because the fall colors were definitely in full bloom by then, and just the beauty of the area was really cool to see. Eventually we made it up to the lake itself, and there's this like log dam there, and we had lunch, and Erica made these couple photos of me, which I'm really excited about just because there's one with me and both Lena and Nico, and this one of Nico and me. in a space that's important, which is just really cool to see. Also, I really like the one of me and Nico because we paired it well with this photo that Erica took of me and Lena back when she was about the same age in the Cascades. We kind of have me and a baby in the mountains for both kids. So, you know, because I'm a complete sentimental sad sack.
Leave you a scar. I don't wanna watch you run away, run away, run away. Ugh, I'm so bored.
Not too long after that, I finished off the last few photos of that Porsche 160 and was gonna switch over to the Gold 200. Got a little bit of help from Lena.
Know how bad you want it, but you're not getting more. I was just bored. I was just bored. Bored. I was just bored.
And once we're done with that and changing Nico's diaper in the dust, there was a lot of dust actually. Continued taking photos up and around the area and then enjoying our hike back out.
The saddest feeling nowadays that all my dreams are much too far away. Sometimes the nights got me aching, working hours in the cold.
Then on our last day of the trip before heading back to Seattle, we had one last jaunt into the national park. And so with that, we're gonna do this little nature hike while Lena was completing her junior ranger certification. It's obviously like, it's just fun to go on a simple walk and stuff and enjoy it. And that's the beauty of this national park, is that like sometimes you go for like the most epic of views and sometimes you go for peaceful walks in the woods. And that's kind of just, I don't know, one of my favorite things about the Cascades is just that you can kind of, in such a short distance between things, you can have such a variety of exposures. But as we're going through, it definitely was an interesting time to practice taking photos with the film camera, just because this has a maximum aperture of 3.5, which is not very wide. And even that, vignette's decently hard, so I try not to use that super often. So it was a good practice of how slow can I hold this camera? I don't know, they're okay. It's okay to practice on the dappled light. The photos that I took with my Leica, I think turned out a lot better just because that lens has a wider aperture and I was able to kind of make them pop a little bit more. But still, it was a fun one.
'Cause what I feel is never understood. But I guess I'll take another day just to get another chance to get out word. I've been lost, I've been praying nothing else will go the wrong. We're all dying, waiting for the world to lose control. I've been lost, I've been praying nothing else will go wrong. I guess we're all dying, waiting for the world to lose control. Could you tell me what it's really like to feel like you've got the world by your side?
Then once Lena was sworn in for her junior ranger certification, we took one family photo and headed on out, and we're gonna call that the end of the trip.
To feel like you've got the world by your side.
I did have a couple extra photos on the Mamiya 6 that I'm gonna show to you right now that I took on another trip a few days later, but just to see these, and we're gonna use these as color comparisons and stuff in just a second. So now that we've seen all those photos, I'm gonna hop over the computer and we can get into kind of the nerdy discussion and compare the different looks of the various films.